Hello, 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 and welcome everybody to today's workshop. I want to welcome you. If you are new here, my name is Jason J. Hamilton, and I am the admin of this group and page. And every Sunday, we are going to bring you a generally live. I do have a couple weeks coming up for vacation, so I may put in some preloaded videos, but generally, we're going to be here live every Sunday at about 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time, to come in and talk to you about something with retirement that can help you increase your knowledge, gain one more thing you need to know so that you can retire with confidence. So if you're a member here or you recently joined, I want to welcome you and say thank you so much for joining us. If you're watching at a later time and you happen to have a question or something like that, go ahead and just put it in the comments. Generally, I will get to those later. But if you're live here and you have a question about our subject today, then I would be more than happy to listen or happy to respond. So, it looks like everything's coming through perfectly well. So if you guys can't hear me, let me know. But other than that, we look like we're in good shape for today. So what I want to talk about today is a very simple formula to help you figure out how much you may either be losing by taking Social Security early, so before your full retirement age, or how much you may gain by taking Social Security later or after your full retirement age. So if you don't know what your Social Security benefit is expected to be, you can go to the Social Security website and just sign up for an online account there, and you should be able to pull in what your most recent expected benefit at full retirement age should be. Just a fair warning, that may go up a little bit, could go down potentially, but generally it goes up a little bit from what you're seeing there. But if you, let's say you stop working and you retire early before full retirement age, and you don't have the full number of years which you need to claim that benefit, which is 35 working years, then you may see that drop a little bit. If you continue working and you have more than 35 years of active, of earned income, years where you worked, and you have years that you're working now that you made more than your lowest earning years, then you may see that benefit go up. And then there also is a cost of living adjustment or an inflation adjustment on there as well. So that number is a good number to start with, but it's not usually perfect. But generally, it's pretty close, and it's kind of where we start when it comes to your retirement planning. So I want to say welcome, everybody. Looks like there's some good folks here. Don, how's it going? Barbara, hello. Debbie, hello. Susie, hey, how's Susie? How you doing? Bob, how you doing? Cheryl, Cindy Lou, how you doing? Cheryl saying she can't see me. Maybe you want to refresh. Go ahead. If it's just spinning there, go ahead and refresh. It looks like it's coming through for everyone else. But without further ado, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter training today, shorter workshop. And I just want to get right to the point and give you some really good information that I think is going to be pertinent for those of you working on your Social Security decision. And one thing I want to remind you is that Social Security decisions should not be made on an island unless it's the only source of income you have, right? So if it's the only source of income you have in retirement, you have no savings, then obviously it is. But if you have some other savings, if you have some 401k, some Roth IRAs, or even some taxable savings in a brokerage account, you really want to look at when to time your Social Security properly to make sure that you are maximizing that benefit and that you're really doing the most you can to give yourself the best level of confidence, the highest level of confidence in retirement. I think it's really underestimated for people to consider thinking about the proper timing of their Social Security. A lot of folks want to take it at 62 because they think they're going to pass away within 5 years. That's most likely not the case. And for many people, they're going to outlive the break-even point, right? So one thing that's talked about a ton right now in the retirement planning community on the advisor side is the standard recommendation is going to be to delay Social Security. It's not going to be to take it at 62. For a lot of advisors that are saying take it at 62, generally they're looking at wanting to manage your money. And so if they can, have you take your Social Security at 62, and then you can delay essentially you drawing from your account, that means they get more money there to manage on, right? So that is one of the conflicts of interest when it comes to working with an advisor that is focused on assets under management as the only means of generating fees from you. So I really look at it as a holistic perspective. I'm a big fan of just getting a really detailed plan that brings in all the types of income sources you may have. So if you have pensions, maybe, if you have other source of income, if you're working part-time, when to take your Social Security, and then how much you can withdraw off your assets to cover those income needs you have. So obviously, earlier years, you're going to have more. And I think a problem with some sort of retirement planning software is they kind of like say, hey, here's going to be your income need, and it's going to go in a straight line. Like it's going to go up forever. But in reality, most folks have what we call the retirement smile. So generally, your spending is going to be higher early in retirement. Then it's going to dip down kind of maybe when you're in 80s or so. And then it's probably going to go up towards the end of your lifespan because you're going to have higher medical costs at that point. Long-term care is a good thing, or a thing that may come in. So we call it the retirement smile. So you really want to look at that when it comes to maximizing your spending. And when you're looking at something like, drawing at your off your assets at say only 3 or 4% a year, that might be safe for a 30-year withdrawal. But in reality, you might not need as much in that middle section. So you may want to look at drawing a little more early and then having more put aside for later if you are going to be drawing a little bit less in the middle. So these are all things that come in when it comes to proper retirement planning that I really think are just underestimated by the general public and for folks that don't really specialize in this. And software is not always a good tool to help you figure this out. So anyways, without further ado, let's jump into what we're going to talk about today. If for some reason this is not coming through for you, let me know, but I think it should be. It looks good on my side. So today we're going to talk about how to figure out what your Social Security benefit will be reduced by when taking early and what you will gain by delaying. Okay, so this is a really easy formula. This is about as easy as it can get for taking Social Security early. So hopefully this helps you out. You may want to get a pen and paper to write this down, but we'll see here if I can make this easy enough where you can just do it with the basic calculator here. Okay, so let me jump over to my slides. There we go. Okay, before we jump in, I just have to let you know, none of this should be seen as a particular investment, tax, or financial advice for you. Okay, this is a general informational workshop, and please don't, you can't hold me accountable here if you take something here as fact. That's not what it's meant to be. It's meant to be as some guidance and some good information that you can use in helping you make your decision. Okay. All right. So most people's Social Security full retirement age is about 66 and some change. If you're born in 1960 or later, it is 67. So what you need to know is that if you draw 1 year early on your Social Security 1 year before your full retirement age, it will be reduced by 6.67%. So it's actually 6 2/3. That's an easier way to think about it, but I had some trouble actually writing out 6 2/3 in digital format. So 6.67 is going to be pretty darn close. So if you draw early, you're going to lose 6.67% the first year. Okay, pretty straightforward. If you draw 2 years early, then you're going to lose 6.67% for the first 1 year and 6.67% for that second year. Okay, so it's about 13% or so that you're going to lose by drawing 2 years early. And this is forever, by the way. So this means you lose this, and then you also lose the cost of living adjustment on top of this that you would get on that full amount if you draw early. Okay, so if you draw 3 years early, you're going to lose 20% of your benefit. Okay, so if your full retirement age benefit is $2,000 and you were to draw 3 years early, then it's going to be about $1,600, and that's where it's going to start. And then you're going to be based on your cost of living adjustments. Are going to be based on that $1,600 forever. Okay, so that's a pretty big chunk of money. It may not seem like it, but $2,000 a month is $24,000 a year. So if you lose 20% of that, then that's going to be $4,800 a year forever. That's $5,000. That's a lot of money. And in all honesty, I've seen a lot of people with much bigger benefits. So you're at full retirement, I've seen some people's benefits closer to $3,000. And then if you're losing 20% off your $3,000 benefit, that's $600. Plus you're losing a big chunk off of your spousal benefit if you have one. So it could be a good chunk of money, nearly $1,000 a month, that you lose forever, right? So again, I'm not saying it's always right to delay until full retirement age or till 70. I just really want you to look at this calculation as like the baseline of your income, right? So this is going to be at least your floor of income that you have coming in no matter what before you have to draw on any savings assets or other annuity type vehicles like pensions. So that's if you draw 3 years early, okay? If you draw 4 years early, you're going to lose 6.67 plus 6.67 plus 6.67, which is 20% plus 5%. So you're gonna lose 25% of your benefit forever. So again, big chunk of money. Really could be a big chunk of money. If you need it, and we're going to talk about that in a second, then you have no choice. It is what it is. But what I'm really talking to are the people that may have some money put aside that have an option here. You have an option, you're healthy, you have some money put aside, and you're really thinking about when should you time this. Well, if you take it 4 years early, you're going to lose about 25% forever, and that's on the primary benefit, and then you do lose on the spousal benefit as well. Okay, and if you take 5 years early, then you will lose 30% of your benefit forever. Okay, so this is generally if you take it, if your full retirement age is 67 and you took it 5 years before 62, that's a third of that money that is now gone. So 6.67% per year for the first 3 years is a big chunk. It's really hard to guarantee that you can get a 6.7% increase guaranteed on your money. Plus, now that's your floor, and it's never going to go below that, and you can get a cost of living adjustment on that for every year going forward. It's a big chunk. It's a big chunk, right? So I know a lot of people just really think they're going to pass away early. Is what it is. I can't help you out. But for those of you that are healthy and you're in your early 60s, late 50s, this is a huge decision, and this can mean hundreds of thousands of dollars for you in the long term if you are healthy and you do live till the average age, which for men is about 84, for women about 86. So that means 50% of people are living longer than 84 or 86, and we're seeing longer and longer time spans these days, and it's not going to be uncommon to start seeing many people live to 110 and even 120 in the coming years here because of the advances in medical technology. So this is a very, very big decision, okay? Okay, so the next question is, how much do you get when you delay past full retirement age, right? So we now saw that if you take it completely early, you can lose up to 30%, right? Now every year you go past full retirement age, you get an additional 8%, okay? So for 1 year past, you're going to get 8%. For 2 years past, you're going to get an additional 16%. And for 3 years past, you're going to get an additional 24%. So we're talking about a swing here of over 50%, so nearly double in some cases by delaying Social Security. And listen, I understand that delaying Social Security is not right for everybody. I completely understand that. I'm just trying to make you aware of what you're giving up or what you could potentially gain by delaying a little bit here. And in reality, it really does raise your chances for a successful retirement if you have a higher Social Security base, okay? One mistake I see people making is they don't want to delay Social Security, but then they'll go put a huge chunk of their money in an annuity because they want more guaranteed income, right? So to me, that doesn't make sense. I would rather see you keep that money in your investment accounts, right, or in your bank account, live off a little bit of it, instead of putting it into an annuity, delay Social Security, which is one of the best annuities ever, if not the best, which I'm going to talk about here. And then now you have control of that money. Once you annuitize an annuity, generally you're going to lose control over that principal, right? And you're not going to get any of it back. There are some cases where you can get your return of principal, but then you're going to lose out on the monthly benefit. So, then you're losing out on what your return is. So it really just stops making a lot of sense depending on what type of products you're looking at. Okay, so what are the general rules on delaying Social Security? If you're healthy and wealthy, delay. Okay, if you're healthy and wealthy, delay. If you're not, then take it early. So if you're not healthy, if you have health conditions, or you really just don't have any other savings, then it's not really a question. That's not what we're talking about here. It's not really a question that you should be drawing probably early, right? In all honesty, maybe working a little longer so that you can get a higher benefit. But, if you have some money put aside, and, it's really good to think about too. The other thing is, if you have a ton of money put aside, maybe you have $3 million or more, and you don't have to worry about it in retirement, then taking early doesn't really make a difference. You can just take that and just stack it on top. But if you're one of those folks that are in the middle somewhere between $300,000 and $1.5 million, that's not a guaranteed amount of money where you could just say, hey, I can spend whatever I want and live comfortably, right? If you have a long-term care event and you're somewhere in the middle there, that can really blow through your assets. So by having a higher floor, a higher Social Security benefit, that's going to help cover some of those costs as well later down the road, because 20 or 30 years from now, even basic care can be a few $100,000s a year. So this is something to really think about. And another thing too is if you have a low risk tolerance where you're invested very conservatively, or maybe you're keeping a bunch of your money into money markets, well, then you're not going to hit 6.67% per year on return, right? It takes a decent amount of risk to get close to 7% per year guaranteed return. So these are a lot of things to think about as you are planning for your retirement. Really, one, not only understanding your financial situation, but also understanding yourself, right? Are you willing to take the risk at 62, 63, 64, and 65 with your money that you're going to supposedly take from Social Security and invest to get 7%, right? Are you really going to risk that for yourself? And then the other discipline you have to have is, are you really going to take all of those checks and put those in a bank account? And maybe some of you are, and maybe some of you are disciplined to do that, but most people are probably going to spend that money. And so you have to be really honest with yourself when it comes to, being in retirement when you have no more income coming in. You can't just go work an extra 6 months anymore and make a little bit extra money, cut your budget, and save a little extra. You are now living off your pot of money that you saved, your nest egg, and your fixed income sources, which may be Social Security and pensions, or if you have annuities. So once you are there, it's not as easy to make up for these mistakes. And once you select Social Security, you do have a one-time kind of reversal where you can pay back all that money and then put it on pause and delay again. But that's only for the first 12 months once you draw. After that, it's kind of, you're done. It is what it is. You can't reverse that decision. So this is a very big decision. I highly recommend that you get professional guidance on this. And there's been a lot of talk about these, online software programs. And I'll tell you right now, I pay thousands of dollars and I use multiple programs when I'm doing retirement planning, because one program, even if it's thousands of dollars per year, is not enough to really get as detailed as you need to get when it comes to properly mapping out your retirement strategy, your income strategy, and really how you're going to pay for all the things you want to do in retirement. So, but again, if you're not healthy, hey, it is what it is. You're probably going to have to take early. Okay, so for those of you that have been paying attention, I have some practice questions for you here, okay? So what I want you to do is let me know in the comments the answer to these questions, okay? So let me see if you've been paying attention here, and make sure that, I want to teach you things, and I want to make sure you remember them. So sometimes like doing a little quiz to test yourself, I think is good, right? So practice question number 1. Okay, we have Margaret, okay? Margaret is age 63, okay? She's age 63. She is retired and decides to take her benefit 36 months early. How much will her benefit be reduced? Okay, so if she takes her benefit 36 months early, how much will her benefit be reduced? Let me know in the comments. Let me give you guys just a minute because there is generally a delay. But A, B, or C? A, B, or C? Okay, seeing a couple come in here. Got Bob says C, Julia says C. Johanna says 6.67%. What does that mean, Joanna? Does that mean in total? What does that mean? Jan says C, Debbie says C, Tom says C, Jody says B, Riola says C, Macy says C, Cheryl says C, Johanna says A, County says C, Audrey says C. So a lot of C's here. So the C's are correct, okay? So you have to remember here, okay? So a couple things. It says she is retired, okay, which means she's not earning income. Okay, so we don't have to worry about the limits, right? Because if you are before full retirement age and you are working still, if you earn over $17,640 in 2019, you will lose $1 for every $2 earned over that threshold. But for 3 years early, 6.67% per year times 3 years, it is 20%. So the C's have it. Good job, guys. Very nice job. Okay. All right. Now we have practice question number 2. John is 68. His FRA, meaning full retirement age, was 66. If he waits until 69 to claim his Social Security benefit, how much higher will it be than if he claimed at 66? A, B, or C? A, B, or C? Let's hear what you guys have to say here. And this one's a little tricky, right? So it's like he's 68, his full retirement age 66, but he's waiting till 69. So I'm kind of throwing you around here for a loop a little bit. But, it is what it is. Okay, so I see some C's coming in here. I probably should have changed the letter, right? Because now I don't know who's doing what. But Don says A, Tom says C, Debbie says B, Kathy says B. So we got to remember, guys, his full retirement age is 66. He's going to be waiting 3 years, and he's going to get 8% per year, right, that he delays. So that's going to be 3 times 8, which is 24%. So the answer is C again. Okay, so was this helpful? Was this helpful? Like, if this was helpful for you guys, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you if you like this type of quiz type thing. If I teach you one little thing, and I can do a little quiz for you and help you really drive home the knowledge so you can test yourself a little bit. I would love to hear if this is helpful for you. Let me know in the comments. I'd appreciate it. So I thought it was good. Social Security is a really tricky beast, but hopefully this was simple enough for you to understand and really benefit from. Good. I'm hearing some people here. Audrey says it was helpful. Thank you. Susan, yes. Julia, yes. Johanna, yes. Thank you. Brenda, yes. Cheryl, yes. Dennis, yes. Okay, good. So I like this format a little bit. So I think this is something we might continue to do some things like this where I can just teach you a little bit and we'll do a little quiz. Make sure you drive home some knowledge here, and then it's going to make sure that you're paying attention, right? I like, sometimes it's easy just to tune out and not pay attention, right? So this, good, and we'll continue this. So this is all I have for you guys today, right? What I do want you to remember is that Social Security timing is a crucial decision, but is only one part of your retirement strategy. And if you need help, okay, we're here to help. Okay, this is not just come and take a quiz and then hope it all works out. I would love to help you out. I do offer a complimentary consultation, and you can go to my website here at keepitsimplefinancial.com/talk to see if there's a time available for you that you can make. I would love to chat with you. Okay, spaces are limited. I have some weird things going on in the next couple months here where I'm not going to be able to take calls for certain weeks at a time, but I do have some spots open now if you'd like to get one in there. So I'm going to pause now and see what questions you guys have, and if you have any questions about anything we talked about today. So if you have questions, go ahead and put those in the comments, and I will take a look there to see what you have to say and what your questions are. So let me know if you have a question, and here's the website if you want to schedule. Okay, so Susan asked, next time can I touch on survivor benefits? Yes, I can definitely touch on survivor benefits. I'm going to note that down actually right now. We can talk about survivor benefits. What questions about survivor benefits do you have? Survivor benefits. Good. Okay. Yes, Susie. Yeah. So Susie said this. Thank you for this class today. This really hit the nail on the head. Why you want us to delay to get Social Security. And again, I just want to make it clear. Like I think most people should, but some people can't. So I got a lot of hate mail. Before when some people just literally can't, right? They're either sick, they can't work, they don't have any money put aside. So I get that. So I need to make it really clear. Most, okay? Not all, but most people should consider delaying if they can, because what you don't realize too is by delaying, you have more money coming in to cover your base expenses. That's going to allow you to spend more as well. That's going to allow you to spend more in retirement of your assets, which is a lot of fun, right? Wouldn't you rather spend more money because you have a bigger income coming in from Social Security? Plus, you have to remember the highest amount that Social Security is taxed is at 85%. That's the highest. Most likely, it won't be taxed, or it might be taxed at 50% for many people. Versus if you take Social Security early and then you have to draw money out of your retirement account, like an IRA or 401k. That's getting taxed at 100% of your top tax bracket, right? So the most Social Security is going to get taxed at is 85%. So it's a lot of benefits here, right? A lot of benefits here, okay? So thank you, Julia. She said very clear and simply explained. Thank you. Susan says, how are they determined? Are they based on the year actually taken or full retirement age? Okay, so that's about survivor benefits. Okay, yeah, so we could talk about that. Any other questions, folks? If there's no questions, then I will wrap up for today. I thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you. If you want to chat, I would love to chat with you. You can ask most folks that most of the time, or actually I should say the majority of the time, when we spend about 45 minutes to 60 minutes working on your retirement, it's some of the best time you've ever spent. I really help you get real crystal clarity on where you're at, where you need to go. Here's the things that you're doing well. Here's the things that you need to optimize. And you're going to have a good list of things to take away regardless on your retirement, whether you decide to get some help or not. So these are really good. I try to make them very, very valuable calls. Okay, so Connie asked, if you stop working but don't draw Social Security, does your monthly benefit go down some because of the monthly benefit was based on projected earnings to full retirement age? It could. It could. And especially if you have less than 35 years of earnings, because your Social Security benefit at your PIA, the primary insurance amount at full retirement age, is based on having 35 years of earnings history, and it is based on you continuing to work at your current income, getting a small increase per year. So it definitely could. Generally, it's not very much, to be honest with you. It's not very much, but it could definitely make a difference. So yeah, you want to be aware of that. And you also want to be aware of the order that you're going to be withdrawing your money from your retirement accounts too, because if you decide to withdraw a bunch of tax-deferred money, well, now if you take your Social Security benefit and you bump yourself up on the tax bracket there and you have to pay provisional income, which means your Social Security gets taxed, now you're going to be seeing even less of it, right? So then you're going to need to draw more money from your retirement accounts to cover your expenses. So these are all things that need to come into play. Great. Folks, if there's nothing else, I appreciate you so much, and I thank you so much for tuning in today. I will see you either in the group or the page here, and I will see you next Sunday for another training, and we'll talk a little bit about survivor benefits. And if you're watching this at a later time and you have questions on Social Security and they don't apply to what we talked about today, drop them in the comments, and I'll try to address those on our next workshop, all right? Thank you so much, folks. Have a great afternoon, and I will see you soon. Oh, have a wonderful 4th of July, by the way. Wonderful 4th of July, because that will be this week. Hopefully, if you have some good barbecue, you can get outside, and you have some great weather. We expect to have great weather here in California, and we'll be out on the water, really enjoying that. So hope you do the same, all right? Bye-bye now. Have a great one. See you guys.